Hi everybody! So today's video is going to be a little bit different from the other ones. I recently received a bunch of questions from a couple of different people on LinkedIn and YouTube asking more about my experience. So I thought it would be fun to share their questions and to share the answer so that you could get involved if you want to as well. I was wondering if you could share your process for the design challenge and how it differed from the typical design experience. So I would say that the biggest difference between a design challenge and a real UX challenge is that with UX design, you're supposed to have user research, do interviews, and put out questionnaires, collect that actual data so that you know that the design that you are creating is actually solving the problem that is at hand. And with the design challenges, on the other hand, you don't have to do that. In fact, you don't really have that much time to do that. Usually the design challenges, they can last from as short as like a day to as long as like a week or a week and a half. And in that time, you don't really have the opportunity to be doing research. You just have to like come up with an idea and get to it and start prototyping. You can't really afford to be spending like a lot of time doing research, unfortunately. And honestly, in terms of the process that you go through with these design challenges, it's pretty much just brainstorm with your partner, start prototyping, test it, and then fix it. That's pretty much all it is. It's very simple. Don't overthink the experience. Just take it as an opportunity to get better at whatever tool it is that they've asked you to use. Some ask you to use Adobe XD, some ask you to use Figma. So really just see it as an opportunity to get better at that tool. And honestly, as a newbie, I would say that the greatest learning experience is not from you actually doing it yourself. It's actually from you seeing who the winners are. Usually they pick about 5 to 10 people, and seeing what they created and seeing how far they went in comparison to yours. Because I'm gonna be real, you're gonna create something and you're gonna think it's sick and think that it's amazing, but then when you see who wins, you're gonna be like, wow, I'm not at that place yet, I am not that skilled yet, and that is totally okay. And the fact that you get to see what these amazing, brilliant people have come up with is an amazing opportunity for you to understand what is it that stakeholders look for, what is it that makes a design great. So don't see this as like, I need to make the most perfect app or website. No. See it as like, I'm gonna come up with an idea. Hopefully it's good. If not, I need to see what makes everyone else's good. And remember that for my future applications and designs. Did you work with your design partner beforehand or discuss any of the topics before actually starting the project? Did you guys have a strict guideline, goals, expectations for the project? Is there something that should be laid out in the beginning before committing to the project? The answer is no. This is supposed to be fun. You don't need to, do all this pre-planning, right? You wait until the day that the design challenge starts, you're given a brief, and then that's when you start brainstorming. Of course, it's good to talk with your partner before to set expectations, like how many hours a day can each of us put into this? But beyond that, honestly, you're thinking way too hard. Just have fun and have a partner that you can bounce ideas off of and support each other. That's the whole point. You don't need to do all of this crazy planning beforehand. Because let's face it, as a newbie, you're probably not going to win, so you need to just enjoy the experience. How much time did you and your partner commit to the project each day? I have done 2 design challenges in the past, and gosh, I don't even know. I feel like most days we put in a minimum of 3 hours, and the most that I put in was maybe 5. And this wasn't every day, but it was almost every day. So it is a big time commitment. If you are really skilled, you might not need to spend that much time. But for me, because I was newer at it and was not a Figma or Adobe XD guru at the time, it definitely took me longer, and you don't have a set design system in place. You're making everything up, right? So it does take quite a bit of time. So if you think that this is going to be something that you only do an hour a day, I don't think you should participate in a design challenge. Did you and your design partner lay out all the ideas you had from the creative brief and start off from there? Yes, that is exactly what we did. So on the first day of the design challenge, you will be told what the challenge is, and then it's kind of your responsibility to meet with your partner. I would advise doing it that day or at least the next day, and talk about the challenge, bounce a couple of ideas off of each other, maybe do a couple of crazy eights drawings. If you don't know what that is, please YouTube it. It's important. And then you can really just like pick an idea that you're kind of both into and then start playing around with a prototype. How did you go about dividing up the work, such as making wireframes, research, etc.? It really depends. If you can work together at the same time, I would definitely advise that, because it's so much easier when you can actually talk to each other, bounce an idea off, be like, hey, I just made this, check it out. Does it look good? Does it look bad? So if you can work together, it's good, but dividing and conquering is the way to go. Like once you have decided what screens you need and all that stuff, you know, you should assign like, okay, I'm gonna do this screen, and this screen, you do this screen and that screen. And then you kind of like meet back together, make sure things look the way that you want to, and then apply it. Try to collaborate as much as you can, and it's more realistic. In real life, you're going to be collaborating a lot with other designers, developers, etc. So you should be kind of doing that. As for the research, I don't know if other people put a lot of time into research, but if you are planning on spending a couple of days on user research and stuff, I would think that it was a bit of a waste of time, because you're going to be on a huge time crunch, and ultimately these design challenges are just design challenges. They're not user experience design challenges. I would advise, you know, if you know a topic has to do with mental health, look at what type of mental health apps and websites are on the net right now and see what you like about them, what you can emulate about them. That's probably as much as I would go. Do yourself a favor, do a quick inspo mood board, brainstorm with your buddy, and run with it. As someone that is also shifting into the product design field, how difficult was the challenge for you and your partner? I would say that the challenges can be difficult because if you're a newbie, you're definitely not as skilled as other people, so you might not even know how to use a plugin, what kind of plugins you should use to make your life easier. You might be creating things from scratch. So in a way, it is harder because you just lack that knowledge and experience, which is why I tell everybody to just see it as a way for you to get better at the tool that they've asked you to use, and a way to be inspired by people who are better than you. Because that is the best way for you to learn and to improve, is to see how something else is better, remembering that, figuring out what you like about it, and applying it to your future work. My last piece of insider info is actually about the people who win. I wanted to tell you what I have noticed about all of the people who get in the top 10. And one of the things that I've always noticed about these people's designs is that they think very hard about the user experience. And I don't mean like research and readability and all that stuff, but they think like, how is the user gonna use this app? Like, for example, one of the past design challenges had to do with space, educating children about space. Now, a really basic designer might just make a digital encyclopedia, like, you know, a resources app where you could read about the different types of things going on in space, news, teaching kids about planets, all that stuff, right? But the people who place in the top 10, however, all of their app ideas like kind of gamified the experience or made the experience unique in some sort of way that would intrigue a user, get them to want to return and to move to the next step and not just open the home screen, look at the home screen and be like, okay. But they would see something on the home screen that would be like, oh, what's that, you know? And the way that a lot of these people did it was they made a journey. Like, okay, so in level 1, you're going to learn this about space, and when you have successfully learned about this, you're gonna get a piece of a spaceship. And then when you get to level 2, same thing, you're gonna get another piece of a spaceship. And through that journey, you're gaining pieces of a spaceship, and when you get to the end, you have all the pieces and the spaceship shoots off into space. So it created like an experience, a journey, you have an objective. And that was the common theme that I've noticed with every single Creative Jam winner. They always thought about the experience and getting people to get to that next step and to continue. And I noticed that a lot of these are like kind of a gamified app. It doesn't necessarily have to be a game, but it's not just a straight up like read the resources, right? Which is, I'm gonna be honest, was the first design challenge that I did. Mine was like a digital encyclopedia. It was not creative at all, even though I thought it was awesome. But when I saw the winners, I was like, wow, wow, yeah, okay. And this might stress you the hell out because you're just like, oh my god, I cannot think of all of this stuff. And that is totally fine. I encourage you to participate in the design challenge and put whatever you can forward and just embrace being a loser and seeing the amazing stuff that the winners created, and remember it. Remember it because it'll inspire you in the future. Alright guys, that is it for the video. You know the drill. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also share if you want to. Thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you next time. Bye!